Welcome to Out and Down, or as some people may think of it, Down and Out. I'm your host, Sarah, and welcome to the podcast. Today we're going to focus more on mental health talk instead of the more comedic answering questions type of thing because as I've mentioned in the previous episodes, I've been going through something really weird lately. So there's so many changes happening right now. I just moved in with my fiance. I just went back to an old job and now I'm not around my friends as much. So it's just me and my fiance, which is good because obviously I'm in love with him, but it's so weird not having my friends under the same roof as me. So it's really strange because when I do hang out with him, I kind of feel like I get carried away like with drinking and I just go over the top because I'm so excited to see them. And I've come to the realization that I don't really like drinking as much as I like the socializing factor because when I'm not really drinking, I'm a little bit on the shy side. I wouldn't say I'm completely shy, but it's definitely a liquid courage for me and I feel like it's really tough cuz I get really into wanting to socialize. I'm having a great time. Introducing myself to new people, which isn't the best time to do that, is when you're drunk. That kind of makes you look bad. So I wanted to say I'm sorry to anybody I've met recently where I was just really, really drunk and I'm just trying to get better. I found out today that I have bipolar type 1 instead of type 2. So I have to really look out for those triggers and stuff that cause manic episodes because previously I wasn't thought to have had manic episodes because I had two, but now I actually have one. Um and I'll just go ahead and read a little bit about that for you guys since I know a lot of people that are bipolar don't want to talk about it. But I think ending the stigma is so important. That's why I have out and down, Because sometimes you're out and you're really down, and sometimes you're down and out. So I'm gonna do a little bit of reading. I know sometimes these aren't the easiest to listen to because it's oh my goodness, it's just so much information and it's such sensitive information that sometimes it's hard to digest it, but it's just something I need to get off my chest a little bit. So, bipolar 1 disorder is defined by manic episodes that last for at least 7 days or by manic symptoms that are so severe that the person needs immediate medical care. Having bipolar is genetic. My sister got some blood work done and saw that she has a likelihood gene of it as well. So I got some recent validation within that vein. It's just something that I have to live with, people who have diabetes or people who have chronic conditions and stuff. So it's something genetic that I continue to be treating, but sometimes I don't take care of myself as much. So then it just turns into a cycle of, oh, instead of journaling and doing my workbook, I'm gonna go out, socialize, drink too much to numb my feelings, and it's the same with my addiction to nicotine. It's I'm so stressed out at work right now and I can't really take the stress I have on my shoulders. So I'm gonna step outside for a quick cigarette instead of working through my issues. So a big thing I'm gonna try now is going sober again. I was sober for 4 months or so, at the late end of last year. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that again. It's just that I had to get taken off my antidepressants and increase my antipsychotics. So I should be back up and running like a normal person sooner than later because like I'm out there embarrassing myself and then I feel guilty for even drinking and then I just get so embarrassed. I'm like, who are all these people I followed on Instagram last night? I don't know any of these people. And sometimes things can just go south really quickly, because I could not stop last time too. And I just woke up and I literally thought I was going to die. I had never felt so sick in my life before from alcohol, so that was like a huge wake-up call for me. And I've noticed a lot with bipolar, like having bipolar, is you kind of don't realize how deep you're in until you hit rock bottom, and then from rock bottom you go up. But it's just something I've had to deal with my whole life, and I'm sorry if you have to deal with it too. I'm trying to remember how common it is. About 1% of the general population will have bipolar disorder in their lifetime. Yada, yada, yada. But it's also fairly common. Some articles are saying 4.4% of US adults, and others are saying 1 in 100 people. So I don't know. But it's just, you have to have your meds on the right milligrams, and you have to go to therapy, eat right, exercise. But sometimes if you're doing all these things, your brain still doesn't work right, so it's really frustrating. Because obviously, like, you want to be able to function and live a good life. Nobody wants to be miserable. And if you do want to be miserable, then there's some deeper rooted thing going on. You know what I mean? I don't know. So it's been like really weird lately. I am starting to feel like a little bit more like I have things sorted out. Because, like, for example, for me, my symptoms really flare up when another puzzle piece of, like, life is put into place. Like, when I graduated high school, really bad episode. When I graduated college, bad episode. When I found the love of my life and we agreed to move in together, episode. And it's like, why can't I have these happy, big life changes without flaring up? Like, and personally, I enjoy change, but like my brain, my disorder won't let me enjoy it. And I'm just doing my best. Because what else can I do? I'm not gonna take this laying down. I'm not gonna keep falling into this same self-destruction, because that does nothing good for me. It just makes me worse and worse. And then a huge thing that I have issues with is I'm trying to be open about my experiences and my whatever else symptoms to my friends. But I don't want to secondhand traumatize people, because I know, obviously they know I'm ill, but as a friend, I don't want somebody to associate this really bad breakdown I've had with me forever. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, let's say you see something and it totally changed your aspects on that person for the rest of your life. You can't see somebody a different way after you see XYZ. And I don't want to cause that for my friends. I don't want to cause it for my family. And it's just so hard because I have to mask a lot of myself around people I don't know very well, because it's like something that people will use against you, or they look at famous people that have had it and be like, oh, you're so-and-so because this. Or I've had people at one point in my life tell me, you don't look bipolar. And it's like, what does bipolar look like? There's not a definite way that you look a certain way. And there's just so much stereotyping and finger pointing, or if you're really bipolar, then why haven't you done this? Or have you ever tried doing this? And it's like, well, if you don't have what I'm dealing with, you'll never know how I feel. And that sounds like such an edgy thing to say, but it's really true, because I'll never know what it's like to be, for instance, I'll never know what it's like to have a chronic health condition that causes some sort of pain. I know some people have chronic pain. I'll never know what that feels like. I'll never know what it feels like to have diabetes or cancer, because I don't have either of those things. So you don't give diabetes or cancer patients advice on how they could fix it, because those things aren't really fixable. Cancer can go in remission or be taken out, but there is no cure. And there's no cure for bipolar either. So it's just manageable with medication. And it's just something I have to deal with. It's something I've inherited. And then I've also inherited addiction genetics from my mom. And that adds on to the whole area of secondhand trauma, because I've experienced so much with her, where she would get so intoxicated and fall in the shower. She would claim that my sister broke her nose when she's the one who fell on her face. Or she's also been trampled by like horses. Or she thought a deer was hurt in her backyard once, and she started to pet it, and it head-butted her chest so hard that her chest was red. Or I could go on and on. And it's just something that has affected me so much, where I've seen her so blacked out and intoxicated that she doesn't even know. And it's just something that I've seen since I was, born. It's just something that will stick with me until I die. Like, I've done so much to try to help this person, and they won't take it, and they can't hold down a job. And my biggest fear is to turn into my mom, who she, however, did not graduate college. She had kids very early, and she had many of them, and she's dependent on men for money, and has no actual career record that spans more than like a few years. So I think I am doing better, but it's not a competition, because her life is her life and my life is mine. There's still that thing in the back of my head that says I don't want to turn out like her, but the trauma that she's caused me my whole life weighs down so much that I can't even feel much empathy for her anymore, because how much abandonment issues she's caused me, secondhand trauma, all of that jazz. I've just been such a huge fan of therapy, because how much it helps out with things like that. But my huge issue is that, like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, it's all this stuff that gives you those little hits of dopamine while you're scrolling, and then you won't realize, and you'll look over and you've been scrolling for an hour. And it's like, what is that really doing for you for that day? It's not doing anything. It's just taking away time, and you're basically wasting time laying down doing nothing. It's like, how do you get out of that mess? That's what I'm dealing with. And I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way. Like, when's the last time you've left your house or apartment without your phone? Like, how many times do you check your phone when you're, like, awake? And it's like, how much important stuff do you really see or need your phone for? Like, obviously you need your phone for, like, work emails, Slack, Sling, GroupMe, whatever work app you have, that it's impossible to not have a smartphone. But I just remember growing up in the age where I had a phone very young because I was the youngest and I had a big family. They needed to get a hold of me for school stuff. So I had, my first phone was like a track phone that had minutes or whatever. And I noticed that once I started texting my friends more or like being more online, my spelling was autocorrected, so I wasn't doing any favors in the spelling department. And then abbreviations of stuff I feel like also took a little bit of a toll on my learning and stuff when I was like in middle school. But through college, that got better. But what about the people who didn't go to college that aren't really educated on things that are further important, like socioeconomic issues, politics, interpersonal communication, like appropriate work etiquette? Basically, college teaches you how to be like a proper human being, and high school teaches you basic stuff. And high school is just so hard now because people always on their phones. And there's nothing wrong with being on your phone as long as you don't use it to replace coping mechanisms. I don't know. Does this make any sense? Like, if it does, leave me a little review or DM me on Instagram at Out and Down Pod. That'd be nice. But yeah, please send nice thoughts my way because I'm not feeling very good lately. And it's so sad because it's Pride Month. It's like the best month of the year. It's supposed to be fun and amazing and wonderful. And here I am having to work on Pride and not being able to go to anything Pride related because I'm just feeling like shit and I don't want to be in public around a bunch of people when it should be a time to celebrate. And for those who do not know, I'm bisexual and I came out in 6th grade. So I am openly queer. I just happen to be in love with a man, but I've also had my fair share of relationships with women. So, and can't count me out of Pride because LGBT, bitch. That's me. Does anyone else like lay down at night and think of how many major life decisions have led you to where you are now? Because like, if I knew that AI was going to exist, I would have gone to trade school instead of from multimedia and audio video. Like, I would have a completely different life if I did trade and I'd be making so much more money. Because how many people do you know that could fix plumbing and stuff compared to the amount of people you know who can edit a video or take really good photos? You probably know more artsy folks like myself instead of trade electricians, plumbers. So yeah, I've made mistakes. But we learn from them. And I think that if nothing works out by the time I'm 30, like if I'm still making the same amount of money, I'm going to be a plumber. Because there's nothing more satisfying than unclogging drains. Because I used to do that like monthly at my old place. I'd unclog it because we had really old pipes. And then as soon as I moved into my new place with Garrett, we noticed like a really, really gross smell coming from the showers. So I had to Google like what should the water heater number be on? Like how could I fix this? So I cleansed all the drains with like baking soda and vinegar. And then I ran them for quite a while and I was like, these shower heads kind of suck. So then I spent a couple hours learning like what the best way to put them on, like, and then researching sizes and stuff, because my shower is like one of those walk-in ones where it kind of feels like a closet. There's not enough room to like lay down or anything. Not that you want to lay in the shower, but like I enjoy sitting in the corner of the shower and just like letting the water fall on me, because I don't always want to stand, especially if I'm sick or something. I want to sit in the shower. But I don't even have room to really do that. But Garrett's bathroom has like a full tub. And also, I feel like I should have mentioned, me and Garrett have our own bedroom and bathroom because my sleep schedule is everywhere. Everything, everywhere, all at once. I would like to thank everybody who's listened this far in because that shit in the beginning was deep. But, like, I needed to get that shit out. Because, like, I felt there was some mental blockage. And there's nothing more important than A, letting that stuff out, B, educating others, and C, letting yourself feel the emotions you have to feel. Also, happy 1 year anniversary to Out and Down, Out and Down, Out and Down. I will be making stickers when I find the time, and I will be distributing them around town. So if you would like one, DM me if you live in the Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, tri-state area, and I will give you a lovely little sticker to put somewhere. All my stickers are on this mini fridge that this one girl who ended up stalking me and okay, here's that story. So the mini fridge is from this girl who I had met on Tinder, but then we became friends and started just hanging out. And she was having issues finding a job and stuff, but I helped her out, not money wise, but she was too anxious to DoorDash by herself, so I'd go with her, and I'd go with her to donate books, and just be a friend in a time of need. So anyway, that led to us being pretty close, and she was really friendly with me when I was going through a really bad breakup with somebody who I will not name. And so I moved into my new place. She, for some reason, thought she was gonna crash with me for a little bit, but I told her that's not happening because we had a full apartment. And we just moved in, so we didn't want to get kicked out. And soon after I moved into the new place, my good friend and musician friend, Kaylee Eberly, you should check her out on Spotify. She was in the Truth or Drink episode. And so I watched her house, and I came home to find this girl who I was friends with in my bed because she had gone around me to ask my roommate to stay over and said that I said it was fine when I did not. So I came home to get a change of clothes, and she was in my bed. And I kicked her out, and I said, "You're not allowed back in. You need to leave." So, anyway, so I still have the mini fridge that she traded my old roommate for dabs or whatever. And I've just decorated it with so many beautiful stickers. I love it. But now that I have a fully functional apartment, I don't know what to do with my, very attached to mini fridge. I guess I can just put it out in the open. But I've never lived anywhere that had a washer-dryer hookup, a dishwasher, or a dog gate thing. And it costs $100 more than my last place, which is insane because my last place only had one bathroom and 2.5 bedrooms. And I had to ask Garrett, I'm like, hey, how do you use a dishwasher? Because I've never used one. And that was a new experience. And everything's on one floor. My old place, I had to go up and down steps constantly. But it's so nice, and there's so much lighting. And we have a little fire escape I can sit out on, and I've sat out there before, got some sun rays. The only thing that really sucks is that, such as Garrett got his window smashed today, and no other car had their stuff smashed. So it's just an unfortunate thing of living in a highly populated area where people are going to mess your shit up. And that's just unfortunate for real. So anyway, I'm zoned out. Does anyone ever get to the point where you're not wanting to do anything you enjoy? I'm depressed. Oh, I'm depressed. If anyone has any suggestions on how to get my dog's eyes to not be so crusty, please let me know. Because she'll get baths and get groomed and stuff, but having a small, fluffy little baby is kind of hard sometimes. And also, do you think I should get a cat, guys? Because Juniper was friends with Alex's, my old roommate's cat, Sosuke. But she also kind of terrorized him, so I don't know if it's a good idea. She's not, like, she didn't, like, attack, but she wanted to wrestle with him, and they had a good enough relationship where they would be sleeping next to each other, and when I was in the process of the movie now, they were cuddling my bed and stuff, which is sad. But, I don't know, my dog's lonely, but my fiance is a cat person, so I think about maybe getting a cat. But I was like, what if we get, like, a pair of cats? Then they'll be best friends, and Juniper has some entertainment. Because she, I think, likes being the only dog, because she's only 12 pounds. So she's very picky about who she wants to be with. She's just a picky girl. And, like, me and Gare took her to the dog park a couple weeks ago. She was just so shy and didn't want to talk to anybody. And she hasn't seen her girlfriend, my dad's dog, Daisy. She's a pug. Hasn't seen her in forever. And they're, like, the same size. Do you guys like this podcast? Because if you do, please suggest it to your friends. Give me a rating. If you don't like it, I'll take some constructive criticism in my Instagram DMs so I can respond. Because I love the interactions with you guys. They're always so wholesome, and I really appreciate it. Because I know every episode is kind of all over the place. It really just depends where my brain wants to take it. So I'm sorry it's a little bit random at times. A little bit random. British people aren't real. British people aren't real. Drone in it. But also, speaking of media, every single South Park mini movie or whatever, 45-minute special, is amazing, and I would suggest all of them. Especially the Prime one. No, there's so many new noises. It's not going to be the prettiest Eddie, oh my goodness. It's not going to be the prettiest audio edit, but you guys will know that I am learning, growing, and doing my best. Oh. Also, if anyone has any book suggestions, I'd like to get back on the book grind. Because I was reading books for a while, and then I fell off because I became sad. And being depressed is so silly. It's like, let me just wake up one day and be like, yeah, my mood's changed for the next few months. It's gone. My personality is still the same, because a huge difference between BPD and bipolar is that, like, BPD people change personalities, bipolar people change moods. So I have the same personality and everything. It's just elevated or whatever moods. Over-exaggerated moods. So much. So much fun. Alright, well, I think I'm going to do a short episode. So happy 1-year anniversary to my home dogs. And also, I love you. And I hope you guys are doing well. I'm out. And I hope that you're not down. Bye-bye.